Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about how to generate leads from the dinner, because I said that that was possible. And one of the ways that we did that, obviously in the beginning you have to generate leads externally with the lead box, or with girls going out getting, with lead cards or whatever. But once you're doing the dinners and you have a good group of people there, you have a whole bunch of people there to get some referrals from. So one of the things that I did, really before I did the close of my talk, or it was actually after I sort of did the close, because I knew after I got done we were going to go around and kind of talk to people and do another close really at the tables. But, well, when I was still up in front, before I got done, we had a little card. Everyone had some sheets to fill out that had some health questionnaire information on it, but also they had a card. It was a card about this big. You'll see it. We have an example of it on the website. It has lines and like 1 through 10. And I would tell people, how many of you know someone that has a problem that needs to hear the information that I just talked about today? And most of the people in the room would raise their hand. And I'd say, and I would kind of, put my hand up too, because then they're a little bit more comfortable to do that. And I would say, and for me it was the truth. I really believe this. I almost lost my life with the heart issues that I had, because no one ever told me that chiropractic could help me. And, that's really unfortunate. And most of the people that you guys know have problems going on as well. And it may not be necessarily today a life-threatening thing, but they have a problem that a chiropractor could help them with, and they're not getting help because they just don't know. So I'm not asking you to, schedule them to come into our office today. But what I am asking is that you write their name down on the card. And if you put their name on that card, our staff will call them and they'll invite them to come to a dinner just like this. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this today. I think most of you did. And most people were like, yeah, this was great. And so, what they would do is they would fill out names on the card. And I think we had some kind of bonuses, like if they filled out all 10, they had some kind of bonus or whatever. I can't remember what it was right now, but you can think of something for that. And a lot of people did. We had a lot of people that would fill out their whole card. So at a lot of dinners, we'd have, 25, 30 people there, and then we'd come out with 120 leads or something, more leads on top of what we had already. So what happens is then those get added into the ones we already had, and we would usually call those first because, it's a referral. It's a referral from somebody that's already been to the dinner, and when we would call, we would say, Sue just was at one of the dinner events that we did, and she thought that you'd really like to hear the information that we had there. And so what day would work good for you to come in? It was a little easier for the girls to schedule, and that's kind of how we kept that going. So I wanted to add that part in. But then as far as like scheduling, how did we do that? As soon as the dinner finished, I would just get a drink of water quick, and then I would just dive into the tables. We had tables of like 8 people kind of together. You can do it a lot of different ways, but we kind of had them in groups where they were kind of facing each other so people could talk more. And I would just go sit down near one of the tables or crouch down by the tables and just say, hey, is there any questions that I can answer for you guys? And more often than not, somebody would have questions and I'd be answering questions and talking to them. And it just gives them some reassurance if they're going to schedule to come into the office of who you are and what you can do, and if you can help them with the problem that they have that they're not quite sure if you can help them with yet. And then our girls would kind of split up in the room, and they would have 2 schedules. One person would have a schedule that was like on the half hours, and the other person was on the hours. So they knew they weren't going to schedule people into the same slots when they were scheduling. And then they would just sit down at each table and go person to person and just ask each person. And one of the things that you cannot do, this is a killer, please remember this, otherwise you will lose almost all the people at your dinner. Somebody at the table is going to say, well, can I call you tomorrow? Or can I get a business card? We did not bring business cards to these programs ever because we got killed by this. If one person at a group of 10 table says, can I just have a business card for right now and I'll call you tomorrow, and the girls honor that request, what do you think every other person at that table does? Can I have a business card too? Because then they have a way to not have to commit at that moment, and it's a killer. So either they want to come in or they don't. I don't think you're unfairly pressuring them, but we would just say, we honestly don't bring cards to the dinner. People tend to not get back to us, and we find it just doesn't work out very well. So if this is something that you want to do, you really need to schedule today. And then it avoided that issue. It was really simple to do, no problem. But yeah, don't hand out business cards or brochures or things like that at the dinner. You don't need to do that. They're either interested or they're not, and just go with it that night. They need to schedule that day just like any other event you would ever do. So that worked really well. The girls would go person around each table, and get as many people as they could to schedule. And you have to know some of these people are not going to come in. I mean, some of them are going to schedule and they're not going to show up for their visit. And it's just how it is. But I also know if you have 15 or 20 people scheduled from an event like that or more, quite a few of them will come in, and it will be very worth your time to go do it. And for even the people that don't come in, it's a really, really good way for them to start to understand what chiropractic is and what it does, and it starts to make a change in your community, which I think is one of the most important things. I mean, anytime you can get out and make a difference in your community and you're not losing money doing it, it's a good thing to do.